Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Thursday, and all of our guests today are brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants GM Barclay Purnett is going to join us in the 11 o'clock hour. Where's my read here? There you go. Ryan, where's my read? Here it is. Saturday night. It's Nickelodeon night as the Giants take on the Kamloops Blazers.
Oh,
The G-Men will be wearing special SpongeBob SquarePants jerseys, and there will be opportunities for fans to win some great prizes. Do you watch SpongeBob?
back in the day, a little bit, yeah.
By far my favorite kids program when my kids were really young, because it had that adult level to it. At least I thought it was at adult level. I don't know how other adults feel. Tickets start as low as $23.90. Visit VancouverGiants.com/tickets for ticket details. Speaking of SpongeBob SquarePants, I don't know where I'm going with this segue, but we bring in from KJR Sports Radio, Fox 13 Sports, our friend Ian Furness down in Seattle. Connection Kraken tonight. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What are you saying? Am I built like SpongeBob, or what was his buddy's name? What was the
Patrick.
Guy's name?
Patrick.
Yeah. Oh, I just don't. Oh, God, I can't wait for the Twitter mentions from your listeners and viewers later. That'll be fun. That's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, fellas.
But nothing but respect for that show, as I just mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the NHL standings, and I'm thinking Seattle's having the Kraken are having this horrible year, and the Canucks are in Seattle tonight. They're 3 points out of a playoff spot, the Kraken. What's the belief level in Seattle right now?
It's you're kind of caught in no man's land, Donnie and Rick. If you look at their month by month, every month they're like at 500, maybe a game above 500, a game below. That's just kind of who they are. They're hovering around 500. They're hovering around that playoff line. They lost kind of the excitement, momentum that they had built up last year at the end of the playoff run when they played those 14 games and 2 7-game series. And but they're just good enough, and they're not bad enough to where we're not doing the lottery deal on the radio right now. I'm not going down that road quite yet, but it's I'll be honest. We've talked about this a million times. They need, in an ideal world for Seattle hockey, they need to finish in the second wild card spot, and Vancouver needs to hold on to the number one seed in the West and give us a 7-game series. And I mean, first of all, I would expect to be on with you guys every day. I'll be trolling your fan base like nobody's business, because I know they appreciate that. And no, but I think we need that. We would need that. That would just be the spark this team needs.
You're on every show in Vancouver every day as it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually
Hey, that's wrong. I was on one show this morning. It's the first time I've been on Vancouver radio, and I don't know, probably since the TS. Well, I guess I've been on with those guys a couple times, but no, I mean, you guys haven't called for a while. I look at the Twitter. I get people all the time saying we miss you on Donnie and Dolly and all that stuff. And I mean, what can I do? I can't call in. You guys got to ask me to come on. So what do you want me to do?
After that SpongeBob conversation at the beginning of this conversation, this might be your last visit to the show. Mind you, I started that.
That's a promise. Is that a promise?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Trade deadline. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Trade deadline with the Kraken, given what you talked about, no man's land.
Well, what is it? Was it a buy or sell? We always have to be black and white, right? Buy or sell. Like last year at this time, I probably came on with you guys, and I'm chirping you about, how the Canucks have to sell. You're in sell mode because you're awful. You're doing the lottery thing and all that. And now we're in that same boat. I listen, Wenberg, Eberle, Schultz, those are 3 guys that have expiring contracts. They've got to move. I don't think it matters where they're at as far as the standings are concerned. They're not a Stanley Cup contender. I think even we could admit that down here. Get something for those guys. Wenberg clears a spot for Shane Wright in the lineup. Schultz clears a spot for Riker Evans on a nightly basis in the lineup. Eberle wants to stay. He has said that he wants to stay here, but I don't know what he would sign for, and I think he might have some value to a team that's that's truly in contention along the way. So I think those 3 guys you have to move. They got an interesting dilemma, too, with the goaltending situation. I mean, Grubauer, you probably can't move because of the contract. DeCord's your number 1 guy. There's no doubt about that. But in the American Hockey League, they got a guy he's too good for the AHL. It's Chris Drieger. He's got an expiring contract as well. And so I kind of wonder if they might try to do something with him and move him along the way. It's funny. I was flipping around the TV on Monday, I think it was. Monday, Tuesday. I know a team that could probably use a goaltender, a backup goaltender. I don't know if you guys do, but it's not often. Not since the days of games at the old Queens Park Arena and watching the old WHL when Ray Ferraro was scoring like 9 goals a night. Have I seen a night like I saw in Minnesota? So I don't know. Maybe Drieger is a guy they could move to. You guys know that team by any chance?
What team?
Well, I'll tell you what. People are happy with Casey DeSmith here in Vancouver. Maybe not that day.
His 86 save percentage, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You're in Stanley Cup.
Oh, that game.
You're
sure.
basing his season. You're basing his season on one game.
Hey, listen. Well, the last 6 games, right? What's his last 6 games look like?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
His numbers have gone up for sure. You are correct.
Yeah,
you are correct.
If Demko goes down, you guys are done.
Oh,
right?
easy.
You're done. We saw that last year. You're done. Come on, come get a guy. Come get Grubauer from us, will you? Come take Grubauer from us. It's only a 5.5.
How many points out of a playoff spot?
How many? We're in the playoffs. You're not, buddy.
Don't say we.
Okay.
We.
Well, listen. The Canucks are in the playoffs.
Yep.
I get that.
Yep.
And the Kraken are not. Fact. Those are both facts. Those are indisputable. Those are facts. The other fact is this: Grubauer is not the number 1 guy. Joey Daccord is. So
Daccord is for sure. Hey, listen, we haven't talked to you since Mike Macdonald got named the new coach of the Seahawks. What was the feel, Ian, on him getting the job? 36 years old, the youngest guy to coach in the NFL, 6-year deal, replaces a legend. Just what was the feel in Seattle when he got the job?
I think there's cautious optimism, maybe some excitement, kind of some fresh blood. It's Pete was there for so long. I mean, 14 years is just unheard of in the NFL. And I look, how many times I come on every week during the football season, and I would never have said, hey, they should fire Pete Carroll. I just don't think you fire Super Bowl winning coaches. His worst years, plural, a couple times, he had 7 wins. I mean, that's crazy. Like, that's a bad year for Pete Carroll as a 7-win season. But they, the more I talk to guys around the organization, they needed to make a move. They needed a little infusion of energy. They needed something new to come in. And so they gutted it. There's only one assistant coach he retained, Carl Scott, who coaches DBs. Everyone else is gone. Macdonald he's kind of the it guy. Every year in the NFL, there's the 2 or 3 guys, the coordinators are the hot item, right? Can they make that move, that step up and be the guy? And he was one of those guys this year. And he's impressive. I sat across from him. We did a thing on radio and TV with him, and he kind of has that it factor. There's no doubt he can coach defense. Now, can he be a head coach? Time will tell. There's a lot of great coordinators that are great coordinators, and they're not great head coaches. Yeah. So, but I would say I would err on the side of this guy has a better chance to succeed than not succeed. I like his staff that he's put together. I love Ryan Grubb, the Washington offensive coordinator they brought in. I mean, he's got a terrific reputation as a play caller, and they've got some offense. The strength of their team's the offense. I mean, they got 3 elite wide receivers and a great running back, and Gino's competent enough. So they should be able to score points. Their problem the last couple of years, they couldn't stop anybody. And they had a defensive head coach, and they couldn't stop anybody. So I think there's some excitement down here for Mike Macdonald for sure.
You mentioned Gino Smith, but 2 years left on his deal. Ian and Pete Carroll was his biggest supporter. He's gone. Right. What's his future?
Well, they had a deadline last Friday that guarantees his contract for this coming season, a roster guarantee of $12.5 million. That doesn't mean anything. That you can still make a move after June 1st and spread the salary cap around. I mean, there's all those salary cap things, and I know Rick, you love the salary cap. I think Donnie falls in the category of me. I let the math guys deal with that, but the basics, like the basics are, that kind of put him on the roster. Now it also allows them, if they wanted to trade him or move him or do something, say during the draft, that now they can do so. I'd say it's still up in the air. I'd say it's better than. There's probably a better chance that he starts at quarterback this season for the Seahawks at the first snap of the year than he doesn't. I think Drew Lock's still in the picture. It's interesting that Ryan Grubb, their offensive coordinator, did talk about both Lock and Gino in his opening press conference, and Drew Lock's a free agent. So with the holes they have in the middle of the offensive line, with the holes they have on the defensive line, I think that with the draft, they're going to focus early at least on those the lines of scrimmage. And then try to kind of figure out the quarterback situation. If there's a guy that can get in the 3rd or 4th round that maybe develop, they'll do that. These guys have never, under Pete Carroll, they never had like a full-time 3rd-string quarterback they could develop on the roster. It was always two guys. They saved that. The roster spots in Pete's mind were really, really critical, and he'd rather have an extra defensive back that could play special teams than a developmental quarterback. I think that'll change this year. I think they're going to draft a quarterback. I just don't think it'll be early. And I wouldn't be surprised if they run back the Geno Smith, Drew Lock show again, draft a guy middle rounds or something and see what happens from there. But I think Geno's probably going to be the quarterback in the fall. Burn the tape if they trade him. Please, Ryan, I owe you if they do. Thanks.
I'm like you. I'd rather watch SpongeBob than deal with math and salary caps and things like that.
Donnie,
analytics.
Isn't it the worst? It's the worst, man. It's the worst. Listen, analytics, there's a time and a place for it, right? There is a time and a place for it. And then there's also a time and a place to say, hey, man, you lost a puck battle in the corner, right?
Yeah.
It's you, the three of us, Ryan, four. We can all see. Like, did you lose a puck battle? Yeah. Well, Wenberg's a great example of that. Alex Wenberg is you watch him tonight, and you're going to say to yourself, man, I probably didn't notice him at all tonight. And then and then some analytics will tell you that, boy, he had a hell of a game. And you're going to say, that's weird. He's a top 6 center. He didn't get a point, was sub 50% on his faceoffs, but boy, he had a hell of a game. I'm like, oh, I don't know where that happened, but I come from a different world, I guess. So again, Donnie, you and I are on the same page with that. We'll leave that stuff up to the smarty pants guys like Ricky and other guys.
Yes, I think
all
it's
the good guys out there.
I think it's important, but I know this when I hear analytics or salary caps, this shouldn't be the case. I should be better at this. I'm thinking to myself, I don't think this is good talk radio.
Yeah,
or good talk television.
It's X's and O's. It's X's and O's, and it drives people nuts.
No, it just
maybe it's just me.
And listen, man, isn't it? Football and hockey are so similar. There's a try-hard element to those sports. There just really is. I mean, there's a try-hard. Like, you can tell it, and I tell people this all the time, the new hockey fans down here. Oh, I don't know. You can watch a game and say, guys working hard. Like if you watch Ty Cartier, number 52, works hard, right? Just works hard, grinds away. I don't know what your rookie with Baines, his numbers were the other night when he made his debut, but I watched that game, and I noticed him all night. End of the night, he doesn't have a point. He's a -2. But you know what? You noticed him. Yeah. Like you noticed him. He probably should have had a couple of assists in that game if guys could have buried shots. Like you noticed him. So what did the analytics say? I don't know. Maybe he did have a good game analytically. I don't know. But I just know this. Watching that game, he jumped off the page at me. And sometimes that's what it is. It's a try hard game. I don't need some nerd to give me a number that says a guy had a good game or not. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Hey, got to keep an eye on tonight, whether he plays or not, or even if he's on the bench. Casey DeSmith. Check him out, Ian.
Check him out.
Okay?
Check him out.
All right.
Hey, is Myers making the trip? Is he coming down?
Oh yeah. Public enemy number one. And I think the dads are on the trip.
Well, I know the dads are on the trip, and what a bummer. They're going to ruin the dad's trip with 4 straight losses. Seattle is tonight. And by the way, did you see Myers' dad the other night when Murph was interviewing?
Yes.
Who was he interviewing? Like, dude,
Cole's dad.
He doesn't want to interview you. Beat it. Like, what are you doing, guy? Like, is it something that runs in the family? Are they just all a pain in the back?
The hit, I can't. People don't even remember the hit down there. Let it go.
Well,
whatever incident
you'll hear it tonight.
Okay.
You'll hear it tonight. Trust me, you'll hear it tonight when that big giraffe is out there skating around. You'll hear it tonight. No doubt about it.
Who are you going to pick on next year when he's gone?
He'll be in Seattle.
Yeah.
My worst nightmare is what you just said.
Signs with Seattle. Signs with Seattle. Tyler Myers, 5 years.
I don't think they'll. I'm gonna guess they're not gonna do that, but that would be my biggest nightmare. That guy shows up down here.
You got another radio hit in Vancouver in 10 minutes. We got to get going here. Okay. Thanks for this.
See you, boys.